got one that can see.
I'm going to show you guys real quick what ESG, I don't know if a lot of you haven't heard about it. I heard about it this was a little while ago, but I just wanted to look a little bit more to what it was about. I'm going to share this video first from Glenn Beck. We all know that he's part of the corporate alternative media. He's a Mormon. He's a Freemason. Yeah, he's part of the club. But they use people like this to, tell the masses what's going on. But anyway, just listen to what he has to say for a second.
Hey, listen.
It's become a dirty word for corporate America. It's gotten so politicized.
It certainly has gotten politicized, and it's unfortunate because it's inevitable that everyone is going to have to participate in dealing with...
Okay, stop. Okay, mandatory. It will be mandatory. You will have to participate
Of course, everybody's going to have to participate
in ESG. So everything they said about a conspiracy theory is now clearly off the table. They're saying it. So you will have to deal with a social credit score. Now I want you to listen to what...
Real quick, talking about the social credit score. I mean, this stuff's already here. I work for a company where it's a logistics company, truck drivers. And we have a computer AI camera that's a front-facing camera and faces the driver. It gives us a score. There's an app on my phone where I can pull up my driving score. The camera, it looks at your eyes, and whenever your eyes look away from the road, it deducts certain points. And if you do it for long enough, there's a computer AI voice on the camera that will say distracted driving. And if you're going, like say 5 or 6 miles an hour over the speed limit too fast, it will say please slow down. And it deducts points and it adds points. It's like a social credit score, but for driving. And if your score gets down below like the 600 range, you will be contacted by one of the analysts. See, the company I work for is one of the biggest companies in the region where I work for. They have analysts that they hire. I think it's a outside contracted company, but they will warn you. And then if your score continues to stay below a certain level, they will offer to coach you to bring your driving score back up. But this is just all part of the big picture.
Kamala Harris said at the AI meeting yesterday.
AI is kind of a fancy thing. First of all, it's 2 letters.
Oh my God.
It means artificial intelligence. But ultimately what it is it's about machine learning. And so the machine is taught. And part of the issue here is what information is going into the machine that will then determine, and we can predict then, if we think about what information is going in.
Okay, stop. What she's saying here is that we're going to teach AI about ESG. We're going to talk to the computer and teach the algorithms to look for equity, to look for social justice, to look for environmental wrongs, to look at governance. Now remember, Maxine Waters just said this is inevitable. Everyone will be forced. You'll have to deal with it. Now they're talking about AI, making that an all-seeing, all-knowing policeman. So now,
all-seeing, all-knowing. What does that remind you of?
now, what is the punishment? Let me bring you to central bank digital currency. This is from page 154 of Dark Future. Now, tie all these things together. Listen carefully. When people think of digital currencies, they usually think of decentralized blockchain currencies like those discussed earlier in this chapter. But a U.S. central bank digital currency would likely be completely different, especially if it's developed under the Biden administration or another leftist White House. What?
See, this is where he steers people wrong. It doesn't matter what administration. It doesn't matter if it's Trump administration or Biden administration. These people want a one world system. They're all working for the same boss.
Why? Because they're going to teach it. Although developers of CBDCs promise these new currencies will be safe and designed to protect some privacy rights, footnote 373, one of the primary appeals of a CBDC is, from the perspective of governments, is that it would be programmable, meaning it could be designed to act in a certain way based on predetermined criteria. So tie this in. You're going to have an ESG score. It's going to be tied with AI watching you, and now a digital currency that is responsive to AI and those scores. A programmable central bank digital currency could be designed so it could only be utilized for certain kinds of purchases, or so that it has limits on the amount of times it can be used to buy certain goods or products. It's even more likely that some CBDCs, including a U.S. digital dollar, would be designed so the rules for its use could change over time. So if the geniuses of the Fed wake up one day and determine that the U.S. digital dollar should no longer be used to buy gasoline-powered cars, ammunition, guns, alcohol, fatty foods, or pretty much anything else they want to ban, federal bureaucrats could, with a push of a few buttons, make their little authoritarian dreams become a reality. Depending on how the law is written governing
It's all about control, ultimate control.
CBDC, it is possible, and I would argue likely, that additional legislation would not be required to make such changes. In other words, CBDCs are created in Europe and North America, and the Fed and other central banks, not a democratically elected legislature, are likely going to be in charge of how those digital dollars are used. That's how the Federal Reserve and some other central banks act today, with very little oversight. A programmable digital CBDC could also easily be tracked, taken away, or have their supply greatly expanded, and on short notice. Think how effortless it would be for the Fed to provide a shiny new stimulus plan in an era of the digital dollar. Just make a phone call, wrap some keys on a keyboard, and boom, $1 trillion delivered to 100 million people, all within a couple of minutes. With all these possibilities in mind, is it difficult to imagine why a central bank or its allies in national governments would want to develop a CBDC? So, tie this again together. You're going to have a social credit score, something they denied. They said that that was a conspiracy theory. We warned you that it wasn't. Most of your friends have no idea what ESG is. It is vital that they understand that. That's what the entire first book, The Great Reset, was about. Once you understand that that's not a conspiracy theory, that is a way to control corporations first, all the way down to you in the end. And when I say the end, I'm not talking 5 years out. I'm talking the next 18 to 24 months. It will control you. Then, when that is forced on everyone, you have an AI monitoring your every move. If you don't have the right credit score and they introduce CBDC, central bank digital currency, and it is programmable, exactly what Kamala...
This is just like that episode of Black Mirror. And I'll actually put that clip on the end of this video. If anybody hasn't seen it, man, it's wild.
Harris was talking about with AI, putting the information in that the government wants it to have, so it will have certain parameters that these leftists want to have in for your money. It's not your money. If you step out of bounds, if you complain about LGBTQ, they don't need the FBI to investigate you. AI will already know what you've written, who you're talking to, what you said at any kind of meeting or any meeting where your phone is on. AI will already know what you've written, who you're talking to, what you said at any kind of meeting or any meeting where your phone is on. And if you think that I am exaggerating, you are sadly misled and misguided.
Yep, so all these videos we put out about truth, when the truth gets outlawed, see, this is all going to come in my opinion, this is all going to come into place after the mark of the beast, when they will have total control of everything. Let me show you a couple more videos. Here's a short one.
You might have heard of the social credit score that the Chinese Communist Party uses against their individual citizens, meaning they rate their citizens on, well, basically whether you're a good communist, but they rate them on whether they follow the law, whether they are supportive of the Chinese Communist Party, whether on social media they're critical. You're downgraded or upgraded based on what you say and what you do, and as a result, you have privileges revoked. So if you say something against the Chinese Communist Party, then you could not be allowed to buy a plane ticket, or you could not be allowed to buy a house, or you might not be allowed to send your children to school. And this is the way that the Chinese Communist Party has exerted control over their citizens. So understanding that ESG, environmental, social, and governance metrics, is the same thing, but instead of being applied to individuals, it's applied to businesses. This is one of the biggest threats internally in the United States that if we don't stop, will fundamentally change whether...
See, we're not going to be able to stop this. This is coming. This is fact. This is the future. Let me show you just a little bit of this, the beginning.
Accelerating the flow of information, enhancing the business landscape has continually evolved.
This isn't it. Hold on.
The environment. The S pillar, ESG stands for operating in a ESG stands for...
Check this guy right here. You can't tell me he's not in the club. Look.
Environmental, social, and governance. You can think of it as an analysis framework to help measure and quantify the degree to which an organization is operating in a sustainable manner. In an analysis framework to help measure...
See his hands? Who else does that remind you of?
And quantify the degree to which an organization is operating in a sustainable manner. Environmental assessment criteria help stakeholders...
Anytime they say sustainability, I don't want no part of it. Anyway, guys, it's coming, and I'll link that Black Mirror video on the end of this video. It's wild. Just wanted to share this with you guys. Y'all take it easy.
Hi there. How you doing?
I am wonderful.
I am so sorry. That flight is canceled.
No.
Customer incident at the other end.
What? So when is the next flight?
Yeah, they're all kind of full.
I booked this weeks ago. It's my best friend's wedding.
I'm sorry.
I have to get there. I have to.
Okay, let's see what we can do.
Oh, thank you.
I see there's one standby seat on another plane leaving tonight.
Okay.
That's reserved for members of our Prime Flight program. You got to be a 4.2 or over to qualify.
Oh, I'm a 4.2.
I'm afraid you're actually a 4.183.
Oh. Well, that's not my fault. Some woman dinged me down in the couch. Can't you just...
I'm sorry, it won't let me book it without the correct ranking.
But it's so close.
There's just nothing I can do.
Christ, I mean, surely.
I'm gonna have to ask you to moderate your language then.
Sorry, it's just... I'm maid of honor. I cannot miss this wedding.
And I am so sorry about that.
Can you call the supervisor?
I cannot do that.
Can you just call the supervisor?
I cannot do that.
Call the fucking supervisor.
Okay, that's profanity. We're zero tolerance on profanity.
I'm sorry, it's just...
Yeah, I have to serve the next customer.
No.
Step away, ma'am.
God, just fucking help me! I'm so sorry.
I've called security.
Oh, no, please don't do that. I'm a 5-star and you? 5 stars?
What's the issue here, Hannah?
Intimidation and profanity.
Oh, no. I was not intimidating.
Don't speak, ma'am.
I was just trying to...
Okay, so, in order to restore calm, I'm invoking my authority as airport security to dock you 1 full ranking point as a punitive measure. This is a temporary measure.
No!
The score reverts to normal in 24 hours.
No, but I
During
need
this
it now.
Period, all down votes are subject to a ×2 multiplier.
×2?
We recommend you avoid negative feedback at this time.
I'm on double damage?
Please, remove yourself from the airport immediately.
In my line of work, you got to keep repeating things over and over and over again for the truth to sink in. Kind of catapult the propaganda. Kind of catapult the propaganda.
Don't talk about a fish story. Man, and they're buying it.
Outbreak of the deadly Pandora virus is spreading around. One day, Jesus is coming. You may be at church. You may be at work. You may be asleep. God grant that you will be ready when he makes his personal appearance.